wonders.
Okay.
That is why we say that compounding is the eighth wonder.
So how somebody like 90-year-old should look into their future in order to create their wealth? What are the basic things that they should understand?
To give you a background, I did my BTech from IIT Kanpur and then I did my MBA from Indian School of Business, Hyderabad.
Recently heard this term called, YOLO culture.
YOLO, yeah.
You only live once.
Yeah, so spend all the money.
I see the internet as well. Like everybody says that rich don't like to teach people how to run, how to become rich. Talking about the real estate, people saying profit margins is going to be huge in India. Why it seems to be a little bit tougher for the people to understand things about investing. Why is it in the first place? Let's say if guy is earning 80,000, okay,
Right.
having paying the rent of 20,000
Mhm.
and spending another 15,000 or 20,000
Yeah.
for some other stuff.
Got
He's
it.
having 40,000 in the hand.
Right.
He should be recovered.
Yes. What is happening usually is, youth today are getting good salaries, right?
Exactly.
Maybe in India, maybe in London, right?
Mm.
Some of them are investing, but most of them are busy, showing off their lifestyle, right? Showing off their lifestyle to friends, maybe buying a BMW, maybe just making investments so that, they can show that they have a good lifestyle.
Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for inviting me to the podcast.
Unscripted Abroad with Narendra. Alright, so I never thought that I will do the episode about investment and finance this quickly. But it's good that
Yeah.
I found somebody like you. We have good relation to talk about and where I can freely talk about the investments and finance. So the overall context of this episode, let's say if somebody young boy like me watching this episode who have very very less knowledge about investments,
Yeah.
what are the immediate steps that he should take? Like what are the general approach he should have about the investments? In his career it's very very important, and then you are someone who is working in the you are an investment banker working in the investment sectors, and then you help people, you help companies.
Yes.
And then basically your life revolves around money. So I'm 100% sure that you are the best ever person to come and sit here with me and then talk about the money. Like before we talk about the investments, give me a quick intro about your past, your qualification and your expertise and what you do, and then we'll move on.
Absolutely. So you're right about one thing that I've been doing investments for a long time.
Mm.
I don't even remember, how long I've been into investment space with financial sector.
Mm.
Everything in my mind is related to finance.
Wow.
But to give you a background, I did my BTech from IIT Kanpur and then I did my MBA from Indian School of Business, Hyderabad.
Mhm.
And post that I've been into investment banking. I've worked with various banks, various financial institutions, and the basic purpose, what I do is make rich people richer. and try to include more and more people into the rich category.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Life revolves around money, as I
So
said.
life revolves around money. Like make more money, make more avenues of money. That's broadly summarizing what I do.
Right. So let me tell you how do I know about the investment banking, okay? So first of all, I don't know there's a profession called investment banking. Like 3 to 4 years ago,
Yeah.
me and my friend we were talking one day. He was like, we should have in our circle investment bankers, hedge fund managers,
Yeah.
all these guys should be in our cycle. I was like, okay, what is investment banker? He said, oh, these are the people who help the companies to value the value and then do the deals and stuff. Then I was like, okay. Then I was like doing the little bit of more research and then trying to understand what these guys do. Then I found that this is the profession where very 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 few people can get into, considered as one of the most elite professionals, right? I was like, I'm just curious, what does investment bankers do?
So you are absolutely bang on the point,
Mm.
right? So investment bankers basically value companies.
Mm.
They help companies to merge with each other. They help companies to actually have synergies with each other so that they can grow into big conglomerates. But at the same time, investments is all about the flow of money. How the money is flowing, which assets are gonna grow in the next 20 years. It's understanding those,
Right.
doing evaluations of those through various modeling and other things, right?
Mm-hmm.
But ultimately, investment banking is more about analytical skills.
Mm-hmm.
It's about understanding, if you are able to understand how the money is flowing into different economies from the world, how things are growing.
Mm-hmm.
So that is how the investment banking is basically broadly structured.
Right, okay.
And a lot of students
Mm.
are basically fascinated.
Fascinated. Nowadays.
N- I would say it has been from the last 40 years.
Really?
Yes.
Because average person, average student, like most of the people don't know about the investment banking exactly what they do. I think nowadays it's because of maybe media.
Yeah, because of the media, everybody knows, and everybody is curious. Because see, money is the fundamental to whatever we do, right?
Yeah.
And investment bankers are generally perceived to be good with money.
Exactly.
Right?
That's why we're here.
Because that is what we do.
Mm.
We are good with investments, we are good with money, and that is why a lot of people want to enter into this industry, want to understand the nuances of this industry, so that they can be better with money.
Right.
They can make better financial decisions. So yes.
But it's not as easy as how we're talking. Right?
No, it's...
So it requires lot of exceptional level of skill, analytical skills like you said, and then understanding about the markets, understanding the risk levels of the markets and stuff. Walk me through your day. What do you do in a typical day as an investment banker?
So as an investment banker, it depends on how many projects are you working upon. There might be 2 or 3 projects you are working upon, or there might be one big project.
Yeah.
Right? But it is also dependent on the asset class that which you are looking at.
Okay.
It might be equity, it might be bonds, it might be rates, it might be commodities. So which asset class, or which basically textile industry or the automobile industry or the aviation sector, which sector are you primarily looking into? Right? And that is how over the period of time you grow your expertise into that particular sector.
Yeah.
So if there is a big merger happening, or if there is a big leveraged buyout happening, you are aware of which company might be the right fit. So it's all about getting to know that industry in and out.
But one thing is, I think, very common, I heard from the people, but you guys put like 80 to 100 hours every single week. Is that true?
Yes. Unfortunately, investment banking demands a lot of time, but it rewards you in the long run.
That's true.
Yes. So,
50 paychecks.
yes. I wouldn't talk about it. But what happens is, initially you have to put in a lot of effort, right? But as you go from analyst to associate, the life becomes easier because you are able to process things much faster, right? And as you become a vice president, director, things become a much easier. Right?
Yeah. Right. Okay, being in the finance, working with the companies, executives, CEOs and all the people. One thing I want to tell people from your voice, why knowledge about finance is important. Because nowadays you see a lot of young people, including me, we seem not to have much knowledge about finance, and we don't understand these topics or terms and things easily.
Absolutely.
For whatever the reason it is.
Tell
me why it's very important to have the financial knowledge in your life.
Yes. I see, finance is basically the underlying on which everything is built. Your entire life somehow or the other revolves around finance. Let me say you have a pretty girlfriend, right? and she asks you to go to a Mauritius or Maldives for a 14-day, 7-day trip, right? You need to have your finances in store, right? You need to have, suppose you want to have a business class flight with your parents, for your parents, to take them somewhere. You need to have your finance sorted, right? So for each and everything, your finance should be sorted. You should have the knowledge of finance. You should have the knowledge of investments. And that is how you would be able to basically beat the crowd with the right kind of financial knowledge.
Right.
You can make the right investments and get ahead in life. Let me explain it with a small example, right? Suppose there is a guy named Rohan and then there is a girl named Swati, right? Rohan is not that great with financial knowledge, and he basically just basically is on a salary, earns money, enjoys life. and Swati is very good with investments. She has a lot of financial knowledge, right? So what will happen in a period of 10 years, let us say both of them start with a fund of 1 crore rupees, right?
Okay.
Rohan might land only at 2 crores or 4 crores.
Without having much knowledge.
Without having much knowledge.
Yeah.
He's investing in FDs, which are not giving him great returns. And Swati is investing into mutual funds, stocks, real estate, commodities, gold. She's having a diversified portfolio. Again.
Distributing properly.
Yeah.
That's the key.
and then in 10 years time, she might be sitting at a net worth of 10 crores.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Yeah.
imagine this after 20 years. 30 years, she might be having a portfolio of 100 crores, 150 crores,
Yeah.
whereas Rohan might be just at a net worth of 10 to 15 crores.
Yeah.
So that is how the difference basically exemplifies, right?
Mhm.
Over a period of time with the right financial knowledge.
Knowledge.
That is why it is so
But
important.
why it seems to be a little bit tougher for the people to understand, things about, investing? Why is it in the first place?
Because the system is set in such a way, right,
Mhm.
that unless and until you take a leap of faith and start doing things,
Mhm.
you will never learn.
Right.
You can listen to this podcast and go home and just start living the life you're living, but you have to start somewhere.
Right.
You have to take small risks,
Mm-hmm.
understand,
Okay.
and then basically you would be able to invest a huge chunk of money someday,
Right. Okay.
right? But you have to learn on the go. You
So
have-
the first step is to start somewhere.
yes,
Start
definitely.
as early as possible.
Yes,
And
yes.
then taking small risks.
Small risks.
Mm.
Don't take a large risk,
Mm.
right? And as you are learning, right, you will make some mistakes. You will do something good,
Right.
and your brain will automatically rewire.
Mm.
It will understand.
Mm.
And once you start making the right decisions, it's like a drug. You'll
You
get,
understand.
you'll get addicted to it. You'll be like, oh, this worked for me last time.
Yeah.
So yeah, and over long periods of time,
Mhm.
it does wonders.
Okay.
That is why we say that compounding is the eighth wonder, right?
Yeah. So what makes the youth mainly to not take investments very seriously? What is underlying things that's influencing people or young guys, you can say?
I think Gen Z or basically the youth today is actually a lot into show off, right? They are buying things.
Unfortunately.
They are buying things they don't need to show
Mm.
off people they really don't care about,
Mm.
right? Buying, let us say, a Gucci, Armani or a Versace, right, dress,
Mm.
and to just show off on Instagram,
Mm.
and after that dress has no value,
Mm.
right?
Mm.
I'm not saying don't buy these things, right?
Mhm.
But you should be at a certain level to be able to afford these things, right?
Mm.
Kanye West can afford these things, right?
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
Badsha can afford these things,
Mm.
but not a normal middle class.
Right.
A
Exactly.
normal middle class should start making his investments, should start his financial journey,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
And once he reach there, then he should start, basically doing these things.
Yeah, I recently heard this term called, YOLO culture.
YOLO, yeah.
You only live once.
Yeah, so spend all the money.
And if you were talking about Gen Zs, I think we Gen Zs are into this culture.
Yeah, but there are some people like you, who want to learn,
Oh yeah.
right?
So what is this what is this because of this culture?
Mhm.
What are the things that make them think that oh yeah, let's spend all the money, and let's not bother too much about the investments, and then what is this you only live once culture? How does it affecting the investments?
So see, what is happening usually is, youth today are getting good salaries, right?
Exactly.
Maybe in
Mhm.
India, maybe in London, right?
Mm.
Some of them are investing, but most of them are busy, showing off their lifestyle, right? Showing off their lifestyle to friends, maybe buying a BMW, maybe just making investments so that, they can show that they have a good lifestyle, rather than really
Actually having good
actually having a good lifestyle, right?
Mm.
And a good lifestyle does not mean that you will wear some shabby clothes, right?
Mm.
Wear clothes which you are okay
Mm.
to buy and throw them away after a certain amount of time, right?
Right. Mm.
So there is this fact. A very senior guy, once told me,
Mhm.
if you can't buy that thing thrice,
Twice.
don't buy
You're
it.
not. That means you can't afford that.
You can't afford that, right? If you can't buy that thing thrice, then you can't afford that. I see a lot of Gen Z people buying iPhone on EMI. You seriously cannot afford that. That means, you know, you are buying something on EMI.
Yeah. Buying cars, expensive cars.
Expensive cars, expensive clothes, expensive dates, you know.
That's a reality.
That's harsh truth, right? So
Seriously, if you think like spending £200 on a date on the weekend is like, it's actually in a trust to prove the society, to put the pictures out there, or to, you know, put the stories or whatever, to prove the friends that you're actually living the life, you're actually, you know, trying to enjoy the life in the terms.
Yeah, exactly.
The reality is not that cool, right? Yeah.
And what happens is when you post a picture of 200 pounds, right, date, then people expect you to go on a 300-pound date. Where does it end? There is no end, right? So you have to be frugal about these things. You have to be financial savvy. Okay, I'm not saying don't go on dates, right? Go on dates where you would go naturally, not to show off to other people. It is fine. It is fine. There would be a day, maybe 5 years, 10 years, maybe 2 years down the line, right? Where you would be able to afford these things without caring about these
without
things.
caring much.
Right?
So can we say that social media has been like a lot of influence of these things?
Social media has a lot of influence over everything.
Everything.
Right now, right? And
especially about spending, you know, talking about, you know, like going on dates, or, you know, taking these pictures and stuff, or else, you know,
going on expensive vacations. Where can we forget that, right? I just gave you an example of Maldives, right? Maldives, Mauritius, and I mean, people want to spend 5 lakhs, 10 lakhs over that.
Yeah.
Just vacation.
Yeah. So how do somebody like 90-year-old should look into their future in order to create their wealth? What is the basic thing that they should understand?
So it's a twofold question. I'll tell you.
Yeah.
So a 19-year-old who would have just completed his education,
just started his show. 2024.
2024, right? So he should be looking at two aspects. One is investments, which we just spoke about, right? He should be looking at investing the amount of money he's able to save. But secondly, he should also focus on increasing his savings. You know.
Okay.
Other than the salaried job he might be doing, right? He should look at other ways to earn more income. Maybe consulting other people, right, on his journey, or maybe doing some small bits where he can get more money, right? Because what will happen is he will get more money, he will invest that amount of money, and invested money would give some cash flows. So he will always have some investment, some cash flow. So he can always, you know, switch more or less between the two.
Okay.
And that is how by the time he's 35, 40, he'll have a big corpus to play with. But he has to start early.
Right. So basically, I'm asking about long term. How should one compound their money with certain amount of their income is like, let's say 20% of their income is putting separately.
Yeah.
How should they compound that money over a long period of time? As you know that compounding is called as eighth wonder of the world.
Compounding is different.
I want to understand from you, what is exactly compounding? How can a normal person can, you know, start compounding his money after a certain period of time by starting early? What is like how this whole process?
Absolutely. So as you rightly said, compounding is definitely the eighth wonder, and a lot of people don't understand this, right? So what you have to do when you are basically early in your career, basically 24-year-old boy, you have to start investing, as a lot of influencers also say, you have to do a bit of SIP, right, into mutual funds or stocks, and start investing into those, right? Maybe I would say 20 to 30% of your gross salary should be invested into these
funds, mutual funds, stocks,
stocks, SIPs, or anything of that sort, right? But at the same time, you should also focus on investing into good mutual funds. You should not take risk at a very early age, right? Invest into good, basically blue chip companies, and over a period of time, you will see your wealth grow.
Right.
And then a part of it can be invested into small cap or basically small chip companies, right? Where you can take a bit of risk.
Right.
Keep your risk appetite small till the time you basically breach a certain threshold. And then with that amount of money, you can start taking a bit of risk.
Okay.
Because what happens is, I'll tell you a personal example, right? People take risks and burn their hand, or basically lose out money, and then they are afraid of stock markets,
Lose their
or
interest and
yes,
then
yes, for the entire period, right? So that should not be done.
Yeah. Right.
Yes.
Yeah. I was like saying, people have completely different misconception about the stock markets. Like rightly you said, people put money into the stocks without having much knowledge.
Yeah.
Obviously, because of the fluctuations, it will drop.
Yeah.
And especially when you're first time investor,
Yes.
it will definitely drop without a doubt.
Yes.
And then we lose your money, and
Yes.
then again start off thinking, okay, this investing into these is not maybe right, and let's start investing in the businesses and stuff.
Correct.
Yeah, again, when you talk about compounding, exactly, like how should one compound? Like, is there any particular formula that you say if you have a certain amount of, let's say, 1 crore?
Yeah.
How can 1 crore be compounded in the long term?
Yeah. So just to give you an example, right? Suppose you are basically compounding at a 12% CAGR.
Compound annual growth.
Yes. Yes. Compounded annual growth rate.
Yeah,
right?
growth rate. Yeah.
So in 20 years, that 1 crore would become 10 crore.
Okay.
10 CR.
With 12%.
12%, right?
Okay.
And just with 8%, it will only become 4 crore. With 8% CAGR, it will become 4 crore.
Why you said 8%? Is it because of fixed deposit?
Yeah, fixed deposits or anything which is not that risk taking, right?
Oh yeah, okay.
So see the difference. Just by those difference of 4%, over 20 years, your money is growing either to 4 crores or to 10 crores. And then think of again 20 years, right?
Okay.
So that is how the compounding works, right? It
Exactly.
works wonders over 40 years. So 40 years, suppose Swati, who is our good with finance, right? She invested 1 crore. Now that 1 crore would be 100 crore after 40 years.
With the compounding.
With the compounding.
Obviously. But in the beginning, it's very, very tiny difference that they're having in the beginning.
In the beginning.
But over a long period of time,
it is huge.
There is nowhere near.
It is huge. Imagine Rohan investing 1 crore and just becoming 16 crore after 40 years, and Swati investing and becoming 100 crores.
How do you say it becoming 100 crore in 40 years? What is like? How do you calculate?
Yeah, so there is a formula to it, right? And then it's very prevalent in financial world, right?
Exactly.
So I'm going to give you a secret today.
Right.
Right. So this formula is called rule of 72, right? So this is basically used to calculate in how many years your money would double.
Okay.
Okay. So let us take an example of 12%, right? So we have to divide 12 by 72, right? So so when we divide basically 72 by 12,
it's 8.
It's
8 or 6? 6. Yeah, sorry.
6.
Yeah. Okay.
It's 6, right? So basically we get in every 6 years the money is basically becoming double.
Okay.
Right? So in 20 years the money would become 8 to 10 times.
Okay.
Right? Because we have three multifolds of doubles, right? Every 6 years the money is multiplied.
Right.
Now in case of Rohan, where the CAGR is 8%, right? It is 72 divided by 8, which is 9 years. So his money is doubling every 9 years.
Other person money is doubling every 6 years.
Every 6 years. So she plays the game where her money 1 crore becomes 10 crore in 20 years.
Alright. So, and you taken the capital of 1 crore, right?
Yes.
If the capital is 20 crore in the beginning, the difference is like...
Difference is huge. Because it's a multiple, right? So imagine both having 2 crores, right? Swati now will have 200 crores.
Okay.
And Rohan will have just 32 crores.
So you're saying basically one should aim at, getting the returns over 12%,
yes.
over 10% at least in the beginning.
So two things are very important here. Getting good returns and getting consistent returns.
Right?
So we have made an assumption here that you are getting consistent returns. And the way to get consistent returns is you invest in good assets, really good assets, right? Which don't depreciate. You don't invest into a BMW, right? Which is a depreciating asset.
Which not gonna high.
Yes,
It's
yes.
gonna either go low or like it's gonna
Yes,
stay the
yes,
same, right?
yes.
What are the assets that you're talking about, like, you know, which will really go high, or like which will maybe 10x, 20x, 30x in a period of time?
My favorite asset is the real estate,
Right.
right? Because it doesn't go only 30x, it goes 300x. So if you check the prices from 1980s to currently 2020, 24 in India for any metro cities,
Okay.
and especially I can speak because I've done that analysis for Gurgaon and Bangalore,
Mm.
you will see the prices have gone 200x for a plot, for a flat. I mean, it has risen considerably. And if you buy a good property, let us say you buy a property of DLF, Camellias, which is very popular in Gurgaon, right? It was around 1 crore, 3 crore in 2003.
Now?
Right now it trades around 80 crores, 90 crores. So see the wealth compounder, right? But it was expensive back then as well.
Exactly.
Like 3 crore was very expensive
It's very expensive. That was I was like about to talk to. So for the guy who has 20 to 30 lakhs in the savings, cannot put all these savings straight away in the real estate to get the good returns, right?
Yeah.
So how the thing works?
Okay. Real estate is something where you play on leverage, right? A person who is having 30 lakhs, what he can do is basically take a loan of 70 lakhs. He might be working somewhere, right? He has the ability to take a loan.
Okay.
And that is how middle class can get out of the middle class and enter the rich class. They don't understand that
Game of loans.
taking a loan is not a bad thing, right? But you have to invest in the right asset, in the right real estate.
Okay.
Because that 1 crore now will have appreciation, or that returns would be calculated over 1 crore, not 30 lakhs. In mutual fund or stocks, your returns are calculated over 30 lakhs. Here, because of the leverage, because of the debt, your returns are calculated over 1 crore. So if the property rises by 50%, how much money you make? 50 lakhs. Though you invested 30 lakhs only, right? So it's a huge game changer.
Right. But definitely somebody having like 20 to 30 lakhs can straight away jump into real estate without having any knowledge about the stocks, mutual funds, and all this.
No. So it's basically a thin line, right? You need to invest a bit into stocks. As I said initially, right? You have to become familiar with these assets, right? Real estate is something that you need to basically learn. And I also teach a lot of people real estate, right? Because investing into stocks, you can always pull out your money, but making a bad real estate decision can cost you a fortune.
Can ruin, right?
Can ruin your life, right? So it's because it's a leverage thing. As I talked about leverage, as Charlie Munger, Warren Buffett says, leverage can kill you,
right?
But make you as well.
Right,
So it's a double-edged sword.
Okay.
Right? So a 22-year-old, right? My recommendation is start doing some of basically equity, right? And then slowly increase your portfolio and then look at real estate options. So do both.
Okay.
Do not be like a one-trick pony.
Right.
Right? Don't do, I'm a stock guy. No. Do both. Do small, right? Don't buy a real estate of 1 crore. Buy a real estate of 30-40 lakhs, right? So diversify your investments and let them grow.
Yeah. Talking about the real estate, people saying profit margins is going to be huge in India if you invested in real estate right now, considering its future growth. How do you see that future growth of real estate in India?
See, India is on a crazy curve right now. As you would have also realized, you have talked to people, right? Both in India. India is at that inflection point, right? Where the next 20 years, from where I see, it's insane growth. Insane growth, because a lot of startups, a lot of technology adoption, right? A lot of hunger, a lot of technical prowess is coming from this nation, right? And basically a lot of NRIs are putting their money, right? Like I do a lot of real estate consulting, right? So I even I'm putting my money in India. So India is at that cusp, right? Where you would see a large growth in the next 20 years.
Right.
Be it real estate, be it equity. I mean,
Yeah, so when you say that kind of growth happen, so real estate will be the first asset class which can be maybe like like you said, like 30-40x or 50x kind of stuff.
Absolutely, because real estate, understand, it is basically a reflection of the economy. So if GDP grows,
Real estate
and
grows.
yeah, India is expected to become the third largest
Very
country,
soon.
right? So real estate is expected to grow. It's a direct function, and because real estate grows, right, there are 80 to 100 industries which are dependent on real estate, right? Paints, cement, and lot of other steel, lot of industries are dependent on real estate, right? So if real estate does good, right, all of these industries do good,
right?
so it's basically a function of the economy.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And also we have to understand the prices of the real estate are driven from the rental yields, right? So as people earn more money, they are okay to pay more rent because their discretionary income increases, and as they pay more rent, the prices of the real estate increases. So everything is linked, right? You have to just connect the dots, and it becomes simpler.
You said it very rightly. I think we are in what do you say? We have so much hunger for the progress in life right now.
Yes.
Everybody wants to be well progressed in a very small time, and I think everything is falling in the place as well.
Absolutely, and it is youth like you. Who are just hungry that we want to learn, we want to do wonders, right? Like there was a period, I would say 10 to 12 years back, where people starting startups was limited to a certain segment, right? Right now, everybody wants to have a piece of entrepreneurship,
right? Okay.
They want to do something.
Okay.
They are just so hungry for growth, for learning, that and for financial learning as well, right?
Right.
That they are okay to take risks. They are okay to learn.
Can you see how many guys coming out and talking about the finance in the Instagram?
Yeah.
It's only from the like one particular place. Let's say Bangalore.
Yeah.
Maybe 100 guys talking about finance for Bangalore alone.
Yeah.
And how can somebody like believe this guy is saying, because it's easy to believe when you put all the graphics and then when you make the calculation, it looks easy. How can somebody actually start learning? This is where I should start. Knowing about the things and like what kind of the resources that you should look for. How is that like pick the right
what
guidance?
I would say is
pick the right guidance. How should
I would say is start small, but trust your gut feeling. Don't follow influencers blindly. Because a lot of influencers will say one thing today and they will change their stance after 3 months, right? But you got invested listening to one influencer, right? So do not listen to these influencers, right? Basically start investing on your own, right? But read the right resources like Charlie Munger, Warren Buffett, right? There are a lot of people in India. You can basically read them. But start investing on your own, because unless and until you go and do things on your own,
you don't learn.
You will never learn. It is like saying, I watch 100 videos of swimming. But
you think that you know the swimming.
you think you know the swimming, but when you reach the pool, you don't know shit. You don't know shit.
Can't even jump, right?
Yeah. So you have to start doing small things. And what I would suggest, right, and it is a very good advice, a mentor of mine gave it to me. Start with a very small amount. It doesn't have to be even 1 lakh, it doesn't have to be even 50,000. Start with 5,000, 10,000, get that comfort, and then increase that amount. Because everybody thinks that they will start with a huge amount, right? No, start with a small amount. Understand, because finance is more about psychology
and emotions.
Yes. You see. Very nice.
Right. It's about emotion, because I speak with a lot of guys, right? So again we're talking about real estate growth in India. Why do you think these, like if you see India right now, all the tier 1 cities like Bangalore, Hyderabad, Chennai, Mumbai, and these already in this position that are competing with the world, right?
Correct.
Can we see massive growth in like tier 2 and tier 3 cities as well?
Yes. So I see tier 2 and tier 3 cities also growing, right? So we'll get a massive growth in real estate from those cities. But the tier 1 cities will grow much higher. And the reason, I'll tell you the reason, because once the ecosystem is built, right, it's very difficult to displace that ecosystem.
Okay. Yeah.
Let us take the example
100%.
of London, right? So London is currently huge, and we have been living in London, so you know the central London. Can Manchester or Liverpool ever beat the prices of central London?
No, it's not possible.
It's not possible, right? Because that ecosystem has been developed, right? Everything is there. All the people are there.
Yeah.
Similarly, the Whitefield or Kormangla of Bangalore, right? Golf Course Road of Gurgaon. You can't beat them.
But it's easier to invest in growing tier 2 cities rather than investing in the tier 1 cities, especially person without having much capital.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
And does urbanization plays a good role? Increase, right now we see the look at the percentage somewhere around like 15%, something like that, and then the projection will be around 25-30 somewhere around in the future. So does it play a huge role in the growth of tier 2 and tier 3 cities?
Absolutely. So we have to understand India was an aggregating economy at a certain time, right? So now we are exporting services. So a lot of MNCs have come and built their shops in India, right? So a lot of people, right, they graduate and they come to these cities, right? Tier 1 cities.
Yeah.
And that is why in the last 5 years, the urbanizations has increased a lot. Right, and it is expected to increase for another 10 years. But at the same time, you are right. If there is a 20, 22, 24-year-old guy, right, he cannot invest in a tier 1 city right now, right?
No way.
But he should take into account that if he does not invest in tier 1 and he does not invest in tier 2, he might miss the bus. So rather than investing in tier 1, he should go for a tier 2 or a tier 3 city, right? Basically get that asset class in his portfolio, get that real estate, and once he has enough money, he can always move from a tier 2 city to a tier 1 city, right? So he can do all of those things later, but the first thing is to get into that bandwagon, because he doesn't want that tomorrow the prices becomes 2x 3x, right, and he missed that basically journey.
Time is right now.
Time is absolutely right now. Yes.
For looking at the bigger picture, there is going to be a lot of cities that what we're talking about, tier 2 and tier 3 cities that are going to grow like anything in the future. If we invest right now, we are catching the bus.
Absolutely. You are catching the bus, right? So that once the bus starts moving, you can catch the train. Right?
Which will go much faster.
Yes, which will go much faster, right? That is a tier 1 city. But you need to at least catch a bus. Because if you're walking, you miss the bus and you miss the train.
Right.
And it is very difficult once you reach a certain age, right? It is very difficult to then catch on. Because as we discussed, the compounding works wonder over long term. So you have to make that right decisions.
Okay.
And I'm sure your podcast is gonna help a lot of people watching.
Oh yeah, that's what main idea is to people talk about the investments and then finance and all this stuff, but they explain in a much complex way. It is very difficult for the average guy to understand. The main idea is to talk about the basics.
Yeah.
Give the knowledge about much basic stuff where they can at least take the first step.
Yes.
There's a saying like when you take the first step, it's like half done, and then you just continue that, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and then I'm just curious about this particular thing. Why are we so much, especially talking about Indians, obsessed in investing in gold? Why is that? Basic psychology or that the trend that is continuing on? What is that?
I think it's a cultural thing, right? It's a cultural thing that has been going on. We give a lot of gold in the weddings, right? We have a lot of gold just kept with us in case of emergencies, right?
To take the loans and stuff.
To take the loans and a lot of this industries grew. You can basically get loans through that gold, and we have to understand that India is coming from where these equity investments were not very lucrative to a lot of
That's
people,
true.
right?
100%. Yeah.
People wanted to play it safe, right?
Yeah.
They just wanted to have some gold kept somewhere that can be used in times of need, right? But also, gold does not give any cash flows. It's a dead asset. Real estate will give you cash flows. Equity will give you dividends. A book might give you royalty, right? If you create a product like a book, it might give you royalty. But gold as such is a dead asset.
Mm-hmm.
But gold will do wonders in times of inflation.
Oh, exactly.
It is deflationary. So basically it's a hedge against inflation.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Very, very
Sorry.
to understand for the normal guy.
So
when you say hedge and stuff, but yeah, like you say what you said is right. But I just want to understand, because you know about that. Like every family owns the gold, and then people seems to put their money whenever they have large amount of saving. Let's buy some gold.
Yeah.
Keep that.
Yeah.
Keep that stuff on that.
Yeah. I believe gold is good till a certain amount, right?
Mm-hmm.
You should have some kind of gold investments just for the diversification purpose.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of money into gold does not yield a lot of good returns over a long period of time, because it is not giving you any cash flows.
Right. Okay.
Right? Because it's a dead asset. You just keep it somewhere. But then if your wife wants to wear it, you need to buy gold. I mean,
then you're not looking at investments.
Yes. So exactly, a lot of people talk about investments, but they don't think about if your wife wants something, right? You have to comply for it, right? And you can't think, you can't explain like, the returns will not be great. No, the latest design has to be in your house. So like investments, emotions, family, everything is interlinked.
It's how you balance.
Yes. How you balance, and how is everything linked to the other thing, right? So a lot of this real estate, right? I talk about real estate. A lot of real estate, which is there with boomers, as we call in USA, right? Is currently a dead asset.
What is boomers?
Boomers are generally the people who are above 50s in USA.
Okay,
right?
alright, okay.
So a lot of these assets are with those people, right? But the youngsters are not able to leverage those assets.
That's true.
Right? So there has to be some discussion between families as well, right? Where they can discuss their finances. India has to become open that children can discuss finances with their parents. What might be a better decision to make as a family.
Right.
And that might become, bring family closer.
Exactly. So, assume you are a 20-year-old guy. So how you look at your wealth generation? How do you start your wealth generation?
Yeah.
And then, what's the picture of entire wealth generation? What? Explain
Yeah,
this.
so if I was a 20-year-old guy right now, right? So I would focus on two things. I would focus on increasing my earning potential, right? Learn
increasing
new skills.
earning potential means by getting the paycheck, salary.
Getting new skills, like getting new skills which can bring in more money every month, right?
Yeah.
Once I need to have three to four avenues where my cash flow is coming in, right? Maybe I'm doing a small gig, right? There's a salaried job, right? Maybe I'm having some equity investments from which I'm getting some dividends, right? And I'm having some small gigs that I do, right? And need to have 3 or 4 basically avenues from where the cash flow is coming. And then you need to invest those cash flows into the right assets.
Okay.
Right?
So first generate a little bit of returns with the low risks.
Right.
Then with the returns, put it back again into right assets.
Correct.
Seems to the formula.
Correct.
Yeah.
Because that will help you two ways. So you will always have cash flows in your hand, right? So as the right opportunity strikes, right, you can invest that amount, right? Because you need to be cash flow positive always. You can take debt, but again you have to take debt after you have enough cash flows in your hand. Yeah.
So talk about, like you said, you will focus on increasing earning potential.
Yes.
And the other one is cash flows, which means generating passive income.
Passive income, yes. Passive income is the key.
Mm.
I'm telling you, every rich person who has become rich, right, has become rich while he was sleeping. Because you can work only 8 hours a day. So there is limited amount of hours you can work in your entire lifetime, right? So you can never become rich trading your time.
Yeah, that's true.
So you have to either build a product or a service or you have to do multiple gigs, short-term assignments. You have to basically get more things to do and earn money while you are sleeping, right? It might be basically you have written a book, right? It will earn you royalty. And as you become more and more famous, more and more people will buy that book, and you don't have to do any extra effort to get money from it.
Yeah. So, give me an example. Everybody knows that obviously buying the house, giving for the rent is a passive income. Like you said, buying a book, writing a book is a passive income. What are the other more examples that we can generate passive incomes?
So one of the beautiful example which Rakesh Junjunwala also employed was investing into equities at a very early age.
Yeah, you mean buying the company early shares?
Yes, because suppose it is giving you a dividend of 1% today, right? That company becomes 5x, 10x. What is the dividend now?
Basically 5 times, 10 times more.
It is 10%. 10% return on your initial investment only as a dividend. The capital appreciation or that
again that stock will go again, right? So that will be again high value.
Yes. And again, suppose you write a blog for yourself, right? And people can advertise on that particular blog. You can earn money through that. If your blog becomes famous, you can earn money through advertisers on that blog. I'll give you another example. Paid newsletter. Suppose you are passionate about something. You start writing newsletter, right? Your subscriber increase. Slowly they were 200, 400, then they go to 1,000, 10,000. Then you start charging them a weekly fees or a monthly fees. That is your recurring income.
Right. So yeah, like you said, recurring income.
Yes.
Seems to be like all the software products, all the software customers falls into this category, right? Once they start buying the software service, subscription, which will, maybe they spend for a certain amount of time, that income will be keep on generating and stuff.
Exactly. And what happens is, it might not look a lot initially, monthly, right? But what happens is, in this also there is a compounding effect, right? So there are 100 people, and as it goes to 1,000, the money coming from them, which was looking measly, becomes 10x.
Yeah.
And then you invest that money coming from them into an asset, which also grows. So it's compounding over compounding, and that is how you catch that train, or I would say aeroplane.
Right. So talking about increment of the salary, and again, as you said, finding a way of generating passive income is the key.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
I also want to know this. Give me some resources where can they educate about the money. Like you said, everybody knows that Warren Buffett is he's been the proven guy in the field, and then somebody like you said, Rakesh Junjunwala. But for the normal guy, young guy, to understand what they say, it's a little bit tricky, isn't it? So what are the basic maths they do? Let's say if guy is earning 80,000, okay?
Right.
Paying the rent of 20,000 and spending another 15,000 or 20,000 for some other stuff. He's having 40,000 in the hand.
Right.
Distributed properly.
Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So he's having a savings of 40k.
Yeah,
right?
40k
per month. So that broadly translates into 5 lakhs, 4.8 lakhs.
Yeah.
Annually, right?
Yeah, annually.
Given that he doesn't have any savings right now, he should start investing in equity. Right? He should invest 5 lakhs into equity.
Okay.
For 1 or 2 years.
Okay.
And at the same time, start building some product so that he can increase those 40,000 to 60,000 or 80,000.
Yeah.
Right? And as that basically wealth goes from 10 lakhs to 15 lakhs, right? Then he can basically start investing into a much more riskier assets, right? So he should start with blue chip companies initially. And then he can start with other companies, other small companies.
Yeah.
And once he crosses, 25, 30 lakhs net worth, then he should take a portfolio of that and invest into real estate. So then he should have a diversified thing, right? So don't invest in one of those. Invest in both, in stock markets as well as real estate. So equity as well as real estate. So that should be the mantra.
Okay. I read this somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
It's a long time ago.
Yeah.
The guy who didn't pass out from best medical college cannot be the best of a doctor. The guy who is not practiced as chartered accountant from the institution cannot be good chartered accountant.
Yeah.
But the guy, normal guy, starts learning about investing by his own.
Yeah.
Can be the top investor after a large period of time. Is it true?
Absolutely. Was Rakesh Jhunjhunwala an IITian? No. But I'm sure he would have earned more money than...
100%, yeah.
There is no question, right? But why did he earn money? The basic premise is because he did a lot of things that did not earn him money. You have to try a lot of things, because see, everybody's mentality is very different.
100%.
Right? If you suppose you invest 1 lakh rupees into something and it goes to 60,000, would you sell or not sell? That is the question. A lot of people panic, but you need
to hold it.
Yes.
Wait for the time again.
Yes. That's the trick. You need to have your emotions in control. That is the fundamental of investing.
Right.
Good, balanced, emotional people always make money.
Right.
From all the asset classes.
So that's the number one.
Yes.
Advice that you give the generation. Yeah.
Read a bit of books. I can suggest, if you want, I can suggest some books. But more than books, I would say go out to the practical world and start investing.
And learn from the experience.
Learn from the experience. You can't learn swimming through a YouTube video. Sorry.
Again coming.
That's my favorite example. But that is the reality.
Right. Oh yeah. Again, you being in the investment banking world, seeing the markets, where this world of finance is going towards. Do you see large people are being interested nowadays to learn more about finance and start pursuing the careers and knowing about the things?
Yeah. I think social media has made people aware that a lot of people are interested into finance. I'm sure 40 years, 50 years back, the same amount of people, the same enthusiasm was for finance. Yeah.
Right.
Social media has made people aware, and it's making the common man aware, right? It's making a 20-year-old boy who is sitting in any part of the world learn finance. That was not there earlier.
Before.
Yes. Only a few people knew about finance and talked about finance. But now people are realizing that they need to have this knowledge to create wealth. Because without financial knowledge, it's very difficult to create wealth.
Yeah, one of the guy told me in one of the meetup, told me there's a one subject that you need to start practicing and becoming good at. It's not history, it's not economics, it's not something else. Finance.
Absolutely.
Which we don't learn, but this is a mandatory, and there seems to be schools doesn't teach us, and then people who are rich don't teach us. Why is that? I see in the internet as well. Everybody say that rich don't like to teach people how to become rich, and then
because
no, really true?
No, it's not really true that rich doesn't want to teach, but it's that what worked for them might not work for you.
It's a different formula for everybody.
It's a different formula, it's a different world altogether. Suppose I'm a 50-year-old guy, right? And I give you some tips. Now those tips worked for me when I was 20 years to 35, 40 years, right? 20 years back. The world has changed. The world is evolving so rapidly, right? The technology was not there 20, 25 years back, right?
Yeah.
So would that work right now? We don't know, right? It's everybody's journey for themselves, I would say.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
There are some fundamentals like we just discussed, right, which would remain the same. The compounding, the maths remains the same, right?
Yeah.
But all the other things, right? What products to build, right? How to create passive incomes, they will evolve, right? But one thing is fundamental. You have to invest in the right assets for a long term to be wealthy.
That's the basic.
That's the core. That's the core. I mean, if you don't invest in the right assets, right, and you don't wait for the long term, you will never be wealthy.
Right. I think there's so many takeaways for the people who ever watch this, again, the simple goal is like, understand the basics, take the first step, dive into the world, experience, fallbacks, get up again, pour again.
You have to be a child. You have to be a child. You have to walk. You have to fall down. You have to get up, and you have to keep on doing that till the time you are able to run.
But the thing is, when you are starting, I think that's where the main crucial step is there, right?
Yes. Because everybody's journey and everybody's emotional compatibility, their emotional tolerance to losses is different.
Okay.
Right? Because somebody might not care a lot about a loss of 1 lakh rupees. Somebody might panic.
Right.
So for them, it's a different financial journey. It's more about controlling your own emotions.
Yeah. We'll end this by talking about one last thing. We'll ask you this personally. What is that particular moment in your career throughout the investing journey made you realize first time, or time that you got the taste of getting the returns, investing in the particular thing, where you realize, oh, this is the key, or
I think it was more in my personal journey, right? So
personal journey. That's
when I was 24, right, I made my first real estate investment.
Okay.
Right, and I just calculated in my mind that this I'm making an investment and this would happen. Right?
Okay.
And in the next 3 years, things panned out what I had exactly imagined.
Oh, it came out like that.
It came out like that,
okay.
right?
Yeah.
And I was like, yes. I mean that the confidence that gives you that you can understand things, how they manifest themselves. You will not be able to get that unless and until you enter it.
Okay.
Because I can now separate, if a person is talking bullshit to me, I can separate that. I can easily understand that. A lot of people get drawn into a lot of stories that are completely bullshit. Right? So that was my investment that gave me the confidence that I'm built for this.
Right. How much returns roughly you like,
See,
what was your decision making?
Real estate is more about absolute returns rather than relative returns, right? So suppose a property is of 2 CR, right, and it becomes 4 CR. It is only 100% return, but it's a 2 CR wealth gain that you have paid. In equity, it might be 30 lakhs and it just becomes 60 lakhs. It's only 30 lakhs.
Right.
So sometimes you also have to look at absolute numbers. But I would say in those 3 years, that property gave me a good return of around 70 to 80%. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Considering of investing like 30 to 40 lakhs.
Yeah. So something on those lines.
Yes.
because I'm telling you, everybody starts there. Everybody. Like I started there, right? Any 24-year-old will not have 5 crores, will not have 2 crores, right? That's not possible, that's not plausible, right?
Yeah.
So everybody would start at that figure of 20, 30, 40, right? But you have to just keep on learning.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Alright, it's a pleasure to have you on this podcast. Yeah. Thank
Definitely,
you so much.
it was pleasure to talk to you, Naren.
Yeah.